Hey guys, my name's Holly. Welcome to HBCorrespondence. Okay, so Craigslist, a very controversial place to buy things slash meet people. We're just gonna talk about how to buy things on Craigslist. So how could I give you advice if I haven't myself bought things on Craigslist? I have bought 2 cars, this computer, and an old laptop that I no longer have, all on Craigslist. So I know Craigslist can be very intimidating. It has a very sketchy reputation, but in my experience, especially after buying so many things on there, I think it's fine. Now obviously you can get your scammers. I don't really understand how scams work because people will like email and say, hey, I need your name, phone number, address, that kind of thing. And I don't really know what they're gonna get from that, but I've never gone past that point to find out. The number one tip I have about buying on Craigslist is if anything seems questionable or kind of off, don't buy it. Do not continue. Trust your instinct. You're probably right. Before I ever think about dropping a dime on anything, I ask the seller an obscene amount of questions. Even if I already know the answers, I just want to make sure that they know what they're talking about, that they actually have what they're selling, etc. If they're not willing to go through and answer all of your questions, they're either not worth dealing with, they're not really selling what they're saying they're selling, or they don't know what they're talking about, which might mean somebody else is having them sell it for them, and that's probably not something you want to get into, especially if it's a car or electronic or something like that could go wrong. Another sign not to go through with something is if the seller doesn't seem very flexible or willing to do you a favor, especially if you're buying something really expensive. If you're gonna buy a car specifically, you want to make sure that you ask a lot of questions. It's good to know if there's any issues. You want to ask about timing belts, brakes, tires, any maintenance, especially if it has more mileage on it. You want to make sure you're very thorough with all of your questions. If you don't know all the questions to ask, try Googling some good questions to go through. When you are searching and you put in all your specifics, I would recommend putting in about $500 to maybe $1,000 more on your maximum price list, because then you can negotiate it down. Most people listing a car on Craigslist are anticipating that you're going to negotiate with them. It's a good idea to try to negotiate regardless. A lot of times when selling a car on Craigslist, people will post it multiple times, and if you're paying close attention, you might notice that one car has been on there several times and it keeps getting lowered, and you want to make sure that there's not a newer post that you just didn't see that has a less price and have them end up getting more money than they were actually really asking for. So just consider negotiating. If you feel like you're not confident about negotiating with somebody, bring a friend with you to negotiate once you go to check out the car. Regardless, I would recommend taking a friend with you so you're not hassled, haggled, or something scary happens. I'm not saying that that's what happens on Craigslist, but whenever meeting a stranger, whether it's Craigslist or whatever, I recommend you take somebody with you. It's a good idea. My kind of go-to way to negotiate is I say, this car seems great, but because of this flaw or because of this amount of miles, why don't we come down on it about $300 or $500? And I think that seems like a fair price. Something like that. Just go for it. The worst that can happen is they can say, no, I don't want to negotiate. And then either you can say, all right, bye, or you just buy it for that amount. Okay, so now the trickier of the two is electronics. Obviously, you can't just take a computer or whatnot to a mechanic and have them check it out and tell you if there's anything seriously wrong with it. So this one's obviously harder. Again, this is a really important one to ask a lot of questions about and see if there's anything wrong with it, see if they know what they're talking about, because if they don't know what they're talking about, they probably didn't use it, and or they maybe stole it, or they're selling it for somebody else, and I don't know, you might want to look into other options. So if they claim they don't know or they just can't really tell you much about it, I would just move on. When you get together to look at the product and or buy it, make sure you turn it on, make sure it works. It'd be really stupid not to. So make sure you do that. If they're weird about it and won't let you, leave. Leave right then and there. Go home. Again, you can negotiate with electronics, but it's a little bit trickier when something is $2,000 or less. So, you know, your haggling price is going to be more like $50, $100. It's not going to be extreme. So it's really up to you. But again, they probably list it on the high end, knowing that people like to negotiate. So worth a shot. My last few tips of advice is ask the seller why they're selling this. That can sometimes say a lot to you. I don't have like a great example of why this works, but it gives you another feel for if it's iffy or not. Another thing is make sure that you save all of your emails or texts with the person about the product. I would kind of try to avoid having phone conversations, at least preliminary or anything that has to do with negotiations, because if anything goes wrong, you have proof what was said. And it's important to save those at the very, very minimum, like a month after you buy something, so that way if anything goes wrong, you've got the proof right there and it's easier to work it out. Lastly, trust your gut instinct. That is the most important thing. If you're still really nervous about buying on Craigslist even after this video, that's fine. Turn to Amazon. It's a great resource. And yeah, and even though I just did this whole video, Amazon is where I sell everything I ever want to get rid of. It's a lot easier. I don't have to deal with meeting up with people. I can sell it to anywhere in the country or I think world. And it just makes it really simple. So that's an option too. The only time I ever sell things on Craigslist is if it's too big to ship and it's pretty easy to get rid of, such as speakers, a microwave, stuff like that. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. And I will see you guys on Wednesday with a brand new vlog. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!